hosting for my third round. I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna get through it. I will be posting this video on YouTube after the event, unedited, so you can view it as many times as you'd like, and you can share it, more importantly. We're going to start the format with everybody having 5 minutes to introduce themselves. I'm going to politely hold up my hand when that time is nearing an end. Then I'm going to, and we'll start from left down the way to the right. Then I am going to ask questions that you have written on cards, and we received a few emails, so there's some questions from emails. And then everybody is going to have a minute. If the question pertains to them, they will have a minute to answer. And I will politely raise my hand to keep everyone on track. We reserved the room from 7 to 9. We'll see how late it goes. We'll see how much stamina these folks have. I will let everyone introduce themselves. Again, I'm Dana with the Hayfork Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here, and thank you, the Fairgrounds, for hosting us. Okay, and the microphone. How do we feel about the microphone?
Say again?
Does everybody want to use a microphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our left or your left?
We're going to start here. With District 3, District 5, and then House Representatives, and I'll let you go from there. You got to hold it until it's green. Once it's on, it's good. That's it. Don't break it.
Thank you guys very much for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. My name is Liam Gogan. I am the current supervisor of District 3. I just want to start out first saying something about the Mountain Valley Unified School District. That really important thing happened this last week or two. The school district, Mountain Valley School District, falls into a very small school district range. There's 60 schools in that under 1,000 kids unified school district, and Mountain Valley Unified School District raised the bar of their grades the highest out of any of those 60 schools in the last 3 or 4 years. I don't want that to go unacknowledged. That's something that, from the teachers down, principals down, bus drivers, it doesn't matter.
Put the microphone up.
That's it, thank you. That is a big accomplishment. 60 schools, we didn't come in 9th, we didn't come in 11th, we didn't come in 3rd, we came in 1st. And that tells me a lot of things about this community. We're getting a lot of buy-in. I look at the honor roll for the school. I'm seeing a bunch of different names in there, and it's good to see. So big plus for District 3, and I'm proud to be part of that, a very small part of that. So I am Liam Gogan, supervisor of District 3. I also own the Douglas City store for the last 26 years. I'm a retired fishing guide of 32 years on the Trinity River, doing somewhere in the 3,000 to 4,000 fishing trip range over the 30 years that I was guiding. I've been married for 33 years. I've lived in District 3 my entire life, living here. I have a son who is the head football coach at Trinity High, and also next year will be accredited school teacher there. So I'm proud of him. He's a Trinity kid, born and raised, will be here till he dies also. We like it here. A couple things about me and my ethics. My store, I've had my store for 25 plus years, which comes to about 9,500 days. We have not closed one day since I bought that store. Not one day ever, not flood, not COVID, not smoke, not fire, nothing. We're gonna hit 10,000 days straight without those, and that's pretty tough to do. And we're proud to have done it. Somewhere in the middle of that, I squeezed in 3,000 or 4,000 guided trips, which was very helpful. And some of the endeavors that we're now with the water situation that we are finally getting the upper hand on. Besides that, I'll pass this along to Anjanette. I'm sure we're gonna have some questions that'll get more into detail why we're here tonight, and always happy to take any and all questions. If there's questions that don't get asked, if something was put down the card and didn't come up tonight, I'm here till the end. I'm here till all the questions are answered. I'm straight up, this is me, I'm not changing. If you know me, you know that. So, bring it on, I'm ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Your applause. I'm gonna turn the mic up a little, cause it was hard. And then if everyone could silence their phones now, ahead of it, not pointing you out, that would be great. Yeah, two over. Yeah, we all need that. Let me, oh my gosh, mic level. Okay, go ahead, why don't you try that?
How loud do I need to talk? Can you hear me?
Mic control. Yeah. There we go. Thanks, Anjanette.
You're welcome. I'm Anjanette Taft, and I'm looking out and I see that I know many of you, and that's very, very encouraging. I'm glad you're here, and we get a chance to listen to everybody. I'm really a native of Trinity County as far as I'm concerned. My dad moved us here when he was assigned by the Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service. I was 10, and of course I left for college and got married and raised a family, and but we always came back for visits and for summer work and that sort of thing, as much as we could. Trinity County was and is my permanent home. I'm just absolutely confident of that. I graduated from Cal Berkeley, go Bears, College of Agriculture, and in their Conservation and Natural Resources program. I didn't use that at the time. I was busy raising my family, but then when the kids were older, I went back to school and got a Master's of Science in Organization Development at Pepperdine University. That led to a career, really, in management consulting. I co-owned that consulting company until we retired, and we had customers, clients from the public sector, government agencies, as well as Fortune 500 companies. It was a wonderful, wonderful life doing that, but when we retired, we said, we can go home now. So we came back and bought a home in Hayfork, and the first thing we did was join the fire department and learn to be firefighters and EMTs and captains, and really worked hard to get the new fire hall built, which may not seem new to you now, but it sure was for us then. I was very, very honored to be asked by Lynn Jungworth to help her when she was forming the board that formed the Watershed Research and Training Center, which is now one of the larger employers in the county. Also aligns with some of my background. Now I'm pleased to be on the Trinity County Waterworks Board, which is the water company that manages water here in Hayfork Valley. And just to round it out, I joined the Log Cabin Quilters when I first moved to Hayfork, and I've been a member ever since, and I'm the chair of the quilt show that you'll see this summer at the Trinity County Fair, and so I sew for rest and relaxation. That's who I am.
Hi, my name is Julia Brownfield, and I'm running for supervisor for District 5. I'm here today because the people of District 5 have not been heard. Their voices have not been heard. They pay their taxes, the money goes over the hill, it comes back, and they don't have any services for the things that they pay into. Our roads are horrible. We don't have streetlights and libraries where we are in many parts of our district. We have very little services. And so for us, our roads are very important. We deserve to have our taxes lowered. We deserve to have our roads fixed. We deserve to have housing that we can afford. And Danny's been wonderful about starting the limited density rural dwelling, which is something I'd love to carry on if I'm elected, and help him finish. There's parts of that we can make even better. There's solutions for every single thing that my constituents and me, I am part of District 5, so it's we, it's us, it's my district, it's my concerns also. There's solutions for every single thing that I see coming down our pike. It's gonna take our communities to work together to get these things worked out, but they're very solvable. We have a lot of regulation on business. We need to open up our economy, so we can put some more money into the county. We can't do that if there's so much regulation. People can't build their homes because it's too expensive to build homes. This ordinance will help that, but we still need more done with that. We need to lower the acreage on that so that everybody can be a part of that. Danny's working on that, and I will work with him on that. But it's time for change. It's time for real action. And our people have been put on the back burner, forgotten, and in worst cases, I think, ignored on the things that they've needed. Their voice is small. We live very southern in the Trinity County area. We have different pockets of communities that need different things, but roads, our taxes are too high, our properties are going down in value, and our property taxes go up. There's things that we need to address. It's gonna take a full-time job to do it. I raised my family. I'm a wife, a mother. I homeschooled. I own my own brokerage, real estate brokerage. Was successful there. Worked my way all the way up through the thoroughbred race safe course industry to the top. In that industry, I've got good business sense. I'm a great negotiator. It's gonna take us knowing all the departments, going through many people to get these things done. And it's possible. I need to know everybody, need to work with everybody. My constituents, my colleagues on the board, we will get things done for our district because I won't stop until it's done. I won't stop. I persevere. I'm a hard worker. I just will not quit until we get the results that our district deserves. A lot of these are cattlemen, they're ranchers, they're farmers, they're loggers. These people built this Trinity County, and their industries are being killed, literally killed by regulation and bad roads. They can't get their logging trucks up. We've got a lot of work to do in the county, and I am up for the task. I've shown integrity in every single thing I've ever done, and I will work for this county day and night, tirelessly. So thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you so much for putting this on today. I love to see all the people that are here. It shows me a concern for the affairs of the county and the district. So thank you.
All right, a lot of you guys know me, you've seen me, you've heard me. I'm Dan Frazier, Supervisor, District 5. I get the concerns. I've heard the concerns from my constituents. I've worked with them. With talking to people here tonight that are no longer my constituents that I've helped in the past. Roads are a big issue in Southern Trinity. And if we look at the last 3 years, more have been done in South County roads than have been done in the 8 years prior to me being elected. That being said, it's not me who did it. It takes you about 5 minutes once you're elected to the Board of Supervisors to realize you don't run the road department. It's code that the Board of Supervisors cannot direct day-to-day operations of any department. What our job is, as the Board of Supervisors, is to allocate funds. And as I've explained it to Julia in the past, the issue we have with directing our road department is we don't allocate funds to our road department. We don't have any. So we can't cut their funding if they don't do what we want them to, because we don't give them any. The only funding that Trinity County roads get comes from the state, from gas tax. So what I've been doing, working with the road department, instead of threatening them, or instead of nagging them, I've been trying to find solutions. I've talked to people in my district. I've got 3 guys right now that have said, yes, we'll help. We're working through the paperwork part of that, so we can hire guys on an emergency basis for snow removal. That's one of the big issues, or stuff like that, so that we can pick them up. It's been suggested that, all right, we should have some contractors. I'm all on board with that, except then you step into this realm that the only money we have comes straight from the state. Which, if anybody who's dealt with the state, you know that when it's state money, it's also prevailing wage. So any contractor that we hire has to go through the bid process, and then we have to pay prevailing wage. So now we don't get anything for that money. So while I understand where my constituents are concerned with the roads, I'm not sitting on my laurels and not doing anything. I've been working for 3 years, trying to do things the correct way. And the correct way means find the root of the problem and fix that, rather than make promises that you can't keep. I've spent 7 years now, basically, because prior to being the supervisor, a lot of you knew me as a planning commissioner, dealing with trying to get our cannabis ordinance in a functional way. Then the ordinance was passed, we had a lawsuit, shut everything down. I spent the next year, a lot of you guys see me, every Thursday trying to get the cannabis division up and running. Finally, after a year of that, we have a cannabis division that's functional, we'll call it at the very least. For the past year, I've been dealing with trying to upgrade or update our cannabis ordinance. So I don't understand where anybody can say that I haven't served my community, I haven't done anything. I've worked hard and I've worked diligently, and when people call me, even people call me from Lewiston, I don't tell people, you're not in my district, or that's not, I will try to help you. Even if you call me with something that doesn't even pertain to what the Board of Supervisors does, I'll still try to help you. That's why I ran for office in the first place, is because I wanted to serve my community. I didn't do it because I wanted to control people or manipulate people. I did it because I want to serve people. Julia brought up that I've been pushing for limited density. I didn't push for limited density, I wrote the ordinance. And then it took me 7 years to get it passed, and I get a little bit of credit for that. Okay, good. Now I've spent the last 6 months trying to get it updated, which I said I would when it passed, but at the same time, rather than fighting tooth and nail to get exactly what I wanted, I will take what I can get, and we'll take the next bite of the apple next time. Rather than in this instant gratification mindset, decide that if I don't get exactly what I want, I'm not gonna have anything. That's not how I work. I'm going to do everything I can to get our county there. And right now, the biggest issue I see is that we need industry. Not just cannabis included, but we need industry in this county, because we can't have roads unless we can pay for them. And I don't have a printed press.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I want to start with my background and experience, because I think experience is very relevant. I was born and raised in Sonoma County, and I got my Eagle Scout right before I dropped out of dropped out of high school. So I'm a high school dropout with a master's degree. One of the things that I did after that was I decided I needed a challenge. So I went into the military, and that's where I learned a lot of discipline. From there, they decided that I was worth spending some money on, and they ended up sending me to get my undergraduate, where I studied at the University of San Francisco, and I got my degree in politics. While I was there, I got to see how things worked. I was sent to Washington, D.C. on a fellowship, where I ended up living in actually about 3 blocks away from the Supreme Court. So I got to interface with many of the people in Washington, D.C. and see how it was that they did things. I had an internship at the Pentagon where I learned strategic studies. I got to study under many of the greatest minds for the military. And that taught me a great lesson about how the world works. After that, I was sent to Europe, where I got to study with many of the international organizations, such as the EU, NATO, United Nations, and many of the names that you're seeing in the news today. Many of the people that are dealing with some of the problems that we're watching bubble into bigger problems around the world. After that, I came home and I started to learn a bit about politics locally. Then I got my commission after I was basically bought by the Army. They offered me $200,000 to get my undergraduate, and they allowed me to become an officer. So I became a commissioned officer in the United States Army, where I eventually became a specialty platoon leader. My job was to teach people how to jump out of helicopters. So I would take people from all over the Asia Pacific, with both our allies and then our own branches. And so they trusted me to teach them how to fall from a helicopter in the middle of the air. And that's something that you have to go through first as well as an officer. You never tell anybody to do anything you're not willing to do yourself. And so I learned many lessons there, and eventually I got selected to another fellowship where I studied at the Senator Daniel K. Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies. And my job was to understand everything that's taking place in the Asia Pacific. And so what that means is anything between Pakistan to the west coast of the Americas, I had to understand what was happening economically, politically, militarily. And that was another place where I studied under people with brilliant minds in the military, and they taught me how to see the world strategically. They taught me how international relations work. I ended up writing my master's thesis on the South China Sea and how it is that we can combat China, who is the greatest threat that we are going to face as a country. Much of what we see today, whether it be in Ukraine or in Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, etc., is coming from China. And we need people in Congress today that are willing and able to address that threat, because that threat is going to continue to grow. We're going to watch these small regional conflicts turn into World War III. I give you my word that that will happen. I don't want it to happen, and I will do everything I can to avoid it from happening. And I believe that my experience, my 16 years in the military and my small business time, gives me the insight to be an informed actor inside of Congress and ensure that we can avoid those things. Because nobody wants to send their children to war. Nobody wants to see that happen. And so I believe that it is incumbent on Congress to make sure that we are well positioned in the world and that we are not engaging in things that we should not be, that we are not sending our money to other places in the world when we here in the United States are sacrificing and suffering. And so I want to bring my small business experience to Congress as well, because I truly believe that if we had more business owners in Congress, that we wouldn't be in the economic situation that we are in. I believe we're watching our middle class disappear. I believe we're watching our business owners basically be removed. And this is something that we cannot let continue. And now, particularly here in California, we're watching many of those business owners leave the state. And this is causing greater problems. I'm listening to many of the issues that you're facing here in Trinity. I have a lot of experience dealing with the state. I've met with the governor's office, I've met with the governor, I've met with legislators, I've met with regulators, I've helped write legislation, I've helped block legislation. I have done all of the things that I am telling you I'm about to go do on your behalf. I'm the only one in the race that can tell you that I've done this. I'm the only one who has the experience geopolitically that can do this. And these are the reasons why I'm running. I think it's very important for us to understand that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. So I'm here to ask for your vote, ask for your support, and I look forward to your questions.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Hayfork Chamber of Commerce, for this opportunity. So my name is Teef Gibbs, and I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives, District 2, and I'm running because I got mad. When my daughter's school closed for 2 weeks to slow the spread, turned into months, and I knew that the schools were lying. So I took her out of school, and my intent was to homeschool. but a chance friendship at a wrestling camp over the summer catapulted her into the #1 women's wrestling or girls wrestling school in the country. But I was still frustrated because all the data was showing that the COVID was not hurting kids. And so the schools were still closed, they were still vaccinating, they were still masking. And I said, you know, this is crazy. So I started to do protests. I organized protests about the mandates, and I said, a lot of them went national actually. And I attended boisterous Marin County Office of Education and school board meetings, and I protested the school closures, the vax mandates, and the mask mandates. In the meantime, parents all over the country were learning about the indoctrination of the anti-racist theory, the critical racist theory, and the radical gender ideology. So keep in mind, the American Library Association sanctions drag queens reading to your children. The current presidential administration is fighting for the right to chemically castrate your children and for the right to censor you. And Rob Bonta and Gavin Newsom are fighting to protect schools from prosecution if they change your gender, the kid's gender, without telling you. My daughter is now a ranked college wrestler, and I must protect her from the possibility that she could be horribly hurt if a man pretending to be a woman decided that winning at all costs was more important and bullied his way onto the women's wrestling team. Now, when I took these positions 3 years ago, they were pretty unpopular. And now I see a lot of people talking about the need to respect women's spaces and for parents to be involved in the gender issues. And as the list of mysterious illnesses and deaths increases, people are asking questions about the COVID vaccine. Now, I'm glad I could be among the first people to raise awareness about these issues. And suddenly it seems like these are no longer fringe issues. It was hard to talk about it now, or then, but now it's easy. So I talked about it when it was hard. And that shows leadership, and that is what we need our leaders to do. California is in trouble. 70% of Californians believe that when their children are grown, they will be worse off than their parents. Inflation, crime, homelessness are out of control, and people feel helpless to do anything about it. Our country is on a precipice. Our sovereignty, our personal control, our individual rights, our pursuit of happiness, that our rights are from God and not from government, are infringed. Daily, we must contend with the government interference in our lives. Now, I notice a number of candidates saying, you know, we need to bring people together, or we need to heal the divide. So do you want me to go to Congress and come back to you and say, well, there's still an invasion at the border, we still have no water, your kids are still being sexualized, and we're still spending billions of dollars on forever wars. But we're all getting along great. No, I don't think so. If I tell you that, then I have lost the battle. I think you want a fighter. I am providing more details about my campaign than anyone else in this race. I have published detailed op-eds and position papers on the border invasion, inflation, homelessness, water storage, and local school bonds, as well as Humboldt County Measure A, and their sadly underfunded roads. I am endorsed by the California Republican Assembly, Sonoma County Pro-Life, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, the American Independent Party, among others. I am a conservative. I believe a return to conservative values will be good for District 2. Things can only change if we change the leadership in District 2. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, all candidates. Really appreciate that. Thank you for your explanations on yourselves. Good job. Okay, so not last call, but just like, it helps me if everybody can turn in any questions now so I have a time to organize them and ask them, because we're gonna be on a minute per answer schedule here. So I'm also gonna grab the phone. If any last questions, they can come to Charlene in the back and she will get them to me. Okay, so I'm gonna raise my hand with 10 seconds to a minute if it's going long. Because we do have a lot of questions. The majority of the questions are for District 3 because that is our homeland here. But there are some questions for everybody. They address all seats. And I'll go around a bit so it's not just heavy on one. So, how about a classic for our local and current incumbent Supervisor Gogan? All right. And I'm going to summarize these. Many residents in the Hayfork area have not seen you much in District 3. And you have some new members in your district because some of your constituents were in District 5 before. What have you done to reach out to them, and what do you plan on doing in the future to reach out to them?
1 minute?
Yes.
So first of all, I am not
And Mike, the distance too.
So first of all, I'm not a micromanager. When I come over to Hayfork, I'm not gonna raise my hand up and say I've been here. You've probably seen all those signs I have out there. You didn't see me once out here. I know the boards that I'm on here. I know which ones need help. I give the ones that need help, and I leave the ones that don't alone until they do. They all know how to get hold of me. I'm here from at all times. Do I live in Hayfork? No, I don't. Am I a small business owner in District 3? Yes, I am. As a store owner for 26 years and a fishing guide, I know this district very, very well. I understand what makes this thing run. I've been doing this for 3 years now. Hayfork has gone from, when we started without a cannabis program, or with a cannabis program, without one, absentees. I've probably been through 5 department heads in our cannabis divisions, which is the economic background here of Trinity 3. We've found stability finally in our government. We have some good people, and I think that has to do with, I like to think I'm part of that. And the relationships that I've made with our staff, you won't find a staff member that doesn't like me that I don't get along with. I support them, they support me, we work together to get things done. And there's a priority of things that need to be done, and we're working on now. We're halfway in the middle of the strategic plan, the general plan, the revision of the cannabis ordinance, and right in the middle of some huge water issues that we need to deal with that we finally got the upper hand in Trinity County on, which I'm very proud to say that we now have the upper hand. Never in my life have we had the upper hand on that. And that's a big, big thing. Water is gonna be the next gold here.
Thank you. All right, for our other incumbent, District 5, Dan Frazier, I'll give you a moment to have the microphone. Coming out with some hard hitters here. Back in I always have a hard time saying this one, 2020, August, complex fire. Our community received FEMA money. We never saw any for our roads in Southern Trinity. So where did our money from FEMA go? Because we haven't seen any of the money going to the roads. Yes, okay, we know how bad the roads are, but FEMA money.
Simple answer, FEMA. It hasn't been long enough yet. The funding is there, it just hasn't got there yet. It's a long, drawn-out process. It's got the federal government involved, and the roads that were fixed in 2020 were fixed with FEMA funding from the storm in 2015. So the FEMA funding for District 5 roads should be rolling in about next year.
Okay, and then a follow-up question to this is where do our tax dollars go if they aren't to roads?
That's an awesome question. I've raised that with the county multiple times. Some of you guys know me. Trinity County District 5, the only general fund money that goes back to District 5 is my salary. Not much. I just got my W-2, $23,000. Everything else goes to the sheriff's department for the most part. 60-something% of the money in Trinity County General Fund goes to wages and benefits. Those don't go to District 5 because people in District 5 don't work for the county, except the road department, which only comes out of gas money. So I get the idea that we're not getting anything for our tax money. The problem being, there's one of me, and there's 5 people on the dais, and if I say, you other 4 districts get to give up your deputies so I can have more money in my district, there's only one of me. So, I get it, I've been working on it for a long time. Talk to Trent, and I'll keep grinding away.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, so this will be the same question, and we're gonna go to Anjanette, and then to Julia, and then this is also for the candidates running for Congress. So, and the question is, just because I'm skipping the incumbents for the moment, because you'll have a lot more opportunity to speak than everybody else, just heads up. What are your thoughts on economic development for, in this case, District 2, in your case it'll be District 5, and in your case it'll be District 2. Thank you. Economic development.
Well, we need it, and we need it from all 3 of our current options. Timber, we need to keep that alive and keep it moving and working with the Forest Service so that we do it, and SPI, so that we continue to have timber operations in this county. Recreation-based industries, of course. That's been a talk with the town forever. I've got some thoughts about that. And our ag cannabis industry, that agriculture side of our industry, I mean, we say forests or agriculture, but we're talking about crops. And we need that industry, and we need to have it well regulated so that it runs legally and smoothly and in concert with all the people on every side of it. Your neighbors may or may not agree with you on either direction. So but it has to get worked out, and it has to be smooth, and that's what the general plan is going to be working on. We have the general plan in 25. If we don't have input to that from our county, from our communities, then it'll get done to us. And I'm very much interested in seeing that happens.
Very well said. So our community development plan, where we are way southern Trinity, many people don't even know that this community plan is happening. They don't know about it, they don't know what it is, and I'm not sure that all of it's very good, but we need to really look at this. We need to talk to our communities about what it is going to do to each community, because every community is very different. And I think we need to know what our community wants, how it wants to grow, because every single community is a little bit different. The cannabis is in one community. Ranching and cattle and grazing is in another. Oh, I'm sorry. But okay. But we do need growth, absolutely. Private industry growth and timber. Go for it.
Okay. So this is, I think, one of the main purposes of Congress. And the bill that I've already written that I believe would help solve this across the board, whether it be Trinity County or anywhere in the country, which is the responsibility of Congress, So the bill I've written would suspend the federal income tax on the first $182,000 of income as an automatic deduction. So that's the first 4 tax brackets. And what that does is that allows every American to keep the money that they have earned in their pocket and spend it within their communities. And what that does is that it ensures that the local businesses will have income and revenue so that they can pay for their employees and they can grow their goods and services. These are the things that we need big picture thinkers to deal with. And I've already started talking with members of Congress who are very interested in this idea and said that they would support it. There are things that we can do, and I have experience as a business owner that I can bring to Congress to help with this. I have experience dealing with cannabis regulations at the state level, and I can help with that. The other thing that Congress must do is make sure that all communities have access to resources. I'm the only one in the race that's trying to protect our dams, which are our water storage. And if we don't have water, then we don't have people who live here, and we can't have farms and vineyards and other agricultural producers. So we must protect that infrastructure, and that's where I'm different from everybody else. So we need to make sure that we've got resources all around, otherwise the people leave, and we don't have an economy.
Thank you, Chris.
So the first thing that you need for industry is deregulation. So regulation is out of control. I know one of the lawmakers says there ought to be a law for that, and they do a contest. Well, it should be the exact opposite. What law should we repeal? I'm a proponent of repealing more laws to get people able to actually start businesses, get back to work. Definitely, when I was here during the county fair and I talked to people, people were really frustrated about the not being able to do the logging and the timber. I also heard that this area has an amazing mineral stash, and I think that mining gets a really bad rap, but I think that if you brought mining back here, that would be a really good thing for this community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this question will be for everybody. I'm adapting it. It's a live show, folks. I'll start with you, Liam Gogan. Oh, how about, why don't we start in the end? Where the microphone is. I thought about it right in that instant. Okay. How will you plan on communicating with your constituents if elected?
Okay. So I'm actually a really accessible candidate. I ran for school board and now I'm running for Congress, and I'm extremely accessible. It's in this day and age, it's so easy to communicate with constituents. Email, phone, Facebook. You have an office here. You have interfacing. It's really easy to interface with constituents, and I'm really happy to do it. I like talking to people. I like hearing about their ideas. So I don't see that being a problem at all. I think that communication, keeping that open.
There's an insane amount of technology available. One of the things that I've done as a business owner, and I've done this as a consultant for multinational companies, is to build the apparatus necessary to help them communicate with their market, with their members, with their communities. So these are things that I've built time and time again. And it's something that I believe we have a dinosaur form of in our Congress, which is just unacceptable in my opinion. And this is the most important entity for the American people to communicate with, and we're dealing with the equivalent to fax machines at some levels. And I think that that's something that needs to change. And I have done this at least a dozen times to help improve the communication process. And that's something I would bring again to Congress and help that, because what's happening is people are not communicating. They're not getting the word. I know that Trinity is not heard at all with our current representative, because I don't even have to articulate it. You guys are living it, and we need to help change that. So one being here, I think, was a good start.
Communication, I don't think is that big of an issue. I know it's where I live sometimes can be problematic. I have satellite internet and cell phone, so sometimes it takes a day or so, but I'm accessible to my constituents in the fact that everybody that wants it has my email, my cell phone number, and don't call my office phone. I've been telling people that for 3 years now, but I will get my messages eventually. It's just when I am in Weaverville. So if anybody that wants to reach out to me, you can text me, you can call me, you can email me, you can ask that I meet you in person, and I will make myself available. I have to anybody who's reached out to me, and even people that aren't in my district. If you reach out to me and ask, I'll meet with you.
Our community is spread out, and I think it's so important to meet with people face to face, especially in our communities where satellite isn't very good and communications on the phones aren't very good. So for me, when as I run and when I'm in office, I will meet with the groups at their meetings. So we have the fire meetings, we have the Lions Club meeting, we have all kinds of wonderful groups that get together, and they're great opportunities for me to find out what's going on in each area, because every area is very different. And so it's important for me to know what my community is thinking, what they need. I will always be there to answer questions. I'm always accessible. And I'd love to know, because it's gonna be a team effort. I need to know what it is you need from me, and I can go to work. And together, we will get things done. So thank you.
I build on what she just said. My observation in our town here, people will speak up in an affinity group. If there are a group of people you get together with often, you'll talk up when asked if such and such should happen, or what do you think the community plan should be for this aspect of our life? So I would be very, very eager to have that happen by going to your meetings and on a planned basis to find out what you're thinking about, something that the county is working on and needs your input for. I think I would also put together an advisory board for myself for reaching out into all the groups. I'm not a member of all the groups in this community. I may know somebody in all of them, but I'm not. So I need all of you to be the spokes and ears for your area.
Thank you. As far as accessibility to supervisors, I think Dan's right. I don't think anybody has a problem getting hold of us. We have a county email, Facebook, all the traditional ways of getting hold of a supervisor. It's pretty easy. I happen to be probably the most successful supervisor since I'm at my store 30 hours a week. Douglas City there, kind of the corner of Hayfork and Douglas City. Pretty easy to get a hold of. You come by, you ask questions, get a hold of me through my county email account. We're pretty easy to get a hold of. You know, the one thing is that, you know, just because you can get a hold of me, I need to get back hold of you. In probably 3 years of doing this, I try to do it every day, answer every email I get. I probably dropped the ball 3-4 times in the 3 years that I've been doing this. So I'm accessible, I get back to the people, and somewhere along the line here, there was something about the general plan people not knowing about the general plan. The dates are out there for the future general plans. They've been posted. If anybody needs those, the next date's coming up. I have them. I think Dan probably has them also. So they are out there. You know, we have to make sure that we fold the strategic plan into the community plan, into the general plan, which are all very difficult things and are all about 50% done right now. So we've gotten us this far. You know, we've probably got another couple of years on a few things or less.
Okay. This is for District 3, and I think most people know what this means. What is the plan for the compound?
All right, well, I guess that's for me. Okay, so.
And explain it for the folks that don't know.
I need more than a minute then.
I did more than that.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Dan. So the compound, Morgan Hill Road, pain in the ass for everybody. Been a problem for a long time.
5 questions were asked about it tonight.
Say that one more time.
5 questions were asked
Oh,
about
let
it
me tell
tonight.
you, I know. It's a blight, it's a problem. And we've talked about that, and I guess myself and Dan are probably the only two people that know about receivership and how that works.
Yeah, he
No, so I talked to Trent about this.
Yeah, you know it.
This for a long time was a closed session issue, so I couldn't get back to somebody. I talked to Trent, our CEO, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now this has been gone to receivership. We have the chance to speak about that. I just want to check on that before I broke any Brown Act rules. So yeah, then we are able to talk about the receivership. So receivership is, we'll say, the compound, and what's happening with the compound is not quick. I'll make this as easy as possible. The county does not want any of these properties. They come with environmental damage, with a unknown price tag to them. So receivership is a company that takes over the property when it's so far in arrears that nobody wants to do anything to it, like the compound. And I'll just make things easy. We'll say the compound is worth $150,000. The receivership company goes out there, cleans off the compound, and we'll just say that costs $50,000. They take that $50,000. We sell the property, and I'll just say for $100,000. The receivership company receives half of that, $50,000. The county receives the other $50,000. That is where the compound is now, as I think we all got 1 or 2 properties into receivership. Yeah, so we all had a chance. I think all the supervisors got at least one. And there's a ton of them here. That's just the worst one.
What is the timeline for
It's a
improvement?
good question. I mean, it's
Okay.
the timeline.
Yeah, like how long do we expect until something actually happens?
Sooner than later. Sooner than later. And I tell you what, some things, once they get through our hands, we'll say, you don't generally have the ability to speed up something like receivership. It has its own pace. You try to keep pushing it. You do the best you can. All I can say is after all these years, we've finally got it into a place where something is happening
Right.
with the compound.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't have a definite, I wish I did. I mean, I
I-
really wish I did.
I understand you don't have a definite time, I just didn't know if you knew it was gonna be a year or if you knew it was gonna be 3 years. But that's okay. Anjanette, did you wanna follow up on that?
That's good news.
Okay, yeah, I agree. There we go. All right. Okay, this is specifically written to you, Anjanette. The economy of Trinity County, particularly in its more rural areas, has been relatively stagnant. What focus would you advocate for the Board of Supervisors, if elected, to stabilize and grow the county's economy, in Hayfork and other rural areas? But you know what? That is a question written to you, but a great question nonetheless. So we can, this was basically asked before, but give everybody a minute because Dan and Liam didn't get a chance to speak about it, so you can expand on it.
Economic development is huge as an issue here. We've lost population. We aren't going to grow without more population. That makes housing an issue. It makes zoning an issue. It makes fire safety an issue, so that we don't burn everything down that we build. I'm very, very concerned about all those. I think that we need to get to work on them. We certainly haven't done a good job of fuels reduction issues in this. Even though we seem to burn our county down, it doesn't mean we've prevented it from happening in the ways that I think we can by working together with other agencies. So that's a very short answer for that.
Great, thanks, yes.
You said that question again, Dan?
Sure. Economic development, more rural areas, basically. So your whole district, your
Okay,
whole
so
rural district.
My whole rural district, District 3, Dutton City, Hayfork. I'm not gonna make any false illusions here. There's nothing coming. We just don't have the capacity for it. We need to build up a little bit of what we have here and get that back to where it was, get these businesses back to running the way that they were. If there was something coming here, some sort of business, if there was something there's light at the end of that tunnel, I'd back it hard. I don't see there becoming any industry to either Douglas City or Hayfork, unfortunately. We're a long way from that. What we need to do is work with what we have, build up the infrastructure that we do have, give everything back to the way it was, and then maybe go from there and draw some people into this community. I don't wanna be bearer of bad news, but reality says to me that, I don't see a lot of industry coming here. I just don't at this time. And I wanna just mention something about taxes, and I'll get this off on my.
You're at a minute.
I got 1 minute?
You had a minute. We'll let District 5 take a swing at it. You'll have another chance.
It's a great question, and one I really enjoy talking about, because if we're to be successful in this county, we need private industry, and the industry here right now, and will be for a very long time, is cannabis. And they are the most highly regulated industry that there is. So, if we want, I think that legal cannabis is the way to go. And I think that we need to allow a lot of that to happen. If somebody is legal, we need to leave them alone. We need to encourage them to grow. We need to encourage them to make money. They'll put and be good neighbors. There's things we need to do with cannabis to make. I understand that there's people that don't agree with cannabis, but we need to work within, there's so many laws for it right now. And if we enforce those, we'd be all right, the ones that are on the books. It is a great economic driver here. And there are people in communities that don't like it, and I think we need to address those communities if, and there is ways to do that. But we have people in communities, where they wanna opt out. And I think that we need to be able to grandfather the people in that have already started their licenses or have a license. And that's possible to do, because I think there are communities that just don't wanna have that in their neighborhood, but there's ways to do that. I think cannabis, done right is good for our community right now.
Damn.
All right, well, economic development, the first thing I would say about economic development is the same thing I said last time I campaigned. That's up to you guys. My job is to get the government the heck out of your way. I'll do what I can. I would love to see more small scale industry, because Liam alluded to the fact that we're not gonna have any large industries coming in here. We don't have a workforce to sell. We're gonna have to do it one person at a time. The legal cannabis industry is part of that. Logging is part of that. Cattle is part of that. As far as the cannabis industry being the most regulated, they are highly regulated. I would say try to sell raw milk if you think they're the most regulated. It's impossible. There are a lot of those things that we need to work toward letting people make a living in Trinity County. I have those conversations with environmental health. And at the same time, I'm having those conversations with the Forest Service about what can we use burnt timber for. I had that conversation yesterday. Even if it comes down to you have to build a plant to use it in Cave Junction or Reno because California won't let you do it. I'm having those conversations. I would love to see everybody here be their own small business owner, because that's where freedom is to do your own thing, and I'll get the hell out of your way. That's my job as government. Are we sending this to these guys too?
We're gonna hold tight on that. We have some other questions for the candidates for Congress. Okay. This is for District 2, which is not to be confused with Weaverville. What can you do to raise funds for Trinity County solid waste. We have an issue with our solid waste, and is there a path for you in your future role if elected in bringing funds and solutions?
Specifically for solid waste?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal everywhere. I think the main thing is making sure the government gets out of the way. I mean, that's the big one. But right now what we have is a representative who is not doing anything to bring funding to this district, to this county. And those are the things that I think can be done to help it. I can't speak specifically about solid waste here. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of negotiations with solid waste in Sonoma County and so on. But this is something that requires so many levels of regulation and enforcement that really what the person in Congress would do is to try and help lead that conversation and drive as much funding as possible to support infrastructure which would allow these types of facilities, the MRFs, multi-use facilities to exist. But that's something where Congress is really more of a leader than somebody that can actually make a big change. It's supposed to help the community itself.
So, I know that Congress people stand up here and they promise you all kinds of money. I'm gonna get this for you and I'm gonna get that for you. And Jared Huffman, he's gonna get $450 million for a wind turbine out in the ocean. But, I don't wanna be that kind of congressperson, and I don't want you to be a community that is beholden to the federal government for funding. I want you to be unregulated. I want you to have your businesses. I want you to be able to prosper and not beg the government for money. So my job is to get out of your way, deregulate, and make it so that you can actually open up businesses, build houses, build your roads, and take care of your community, which you love. You are here because you love this area. So I don't really want to promise that I'm going to get you a bunch of money, because we're $34 trillion in debt, and we have to stop all the spending. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this one is for market Trinity County as an attractive. Okay, the question is, what is the county doing to market Trinity County as an attractive, friendly, and recreationally unique area of Northern California to visit and enjoy? And what specific changes to existing county funded marketing efforts that should be made to enhance this effort? Okay.
That sounds like a question for the Chamber of Commerce.
Doesn't it? I know, I do know the answer. But I'm not bold enough to run.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Trinity County is supporting our chambers of commerce.
Want to expand on that?
How much do you want me to expand?
You have 50 seconds.
We just, I think the first half of the allocations of the TOT money just went out. I can't remember the name of the
Collaborative group?
Yeah, that's leading, and we're supposed to be hiring a marketing strategist for Trinity County. We're trying to sell our county, so, and in a good way. So, we're working toward that. We tried last year to get the TOT tax increase, so that we could give the chambers more money to do more marketing, to bring in more money. That failed. So we'll keep going with what we've got and keep supporting the chambers of commerce, because they're better at that than we are. Do you want to answer that? You weren't there.
I'd say build it and they'll come.
So we did fund the chamber and all the entities attached to that, I think an extra 100,000 this year. I think it was 100,000 that we gave extra to try to capture some of the tourism that we're not getting. I think every surrounding county around us probably does 15 to 20 times the tourism industry that we do. I think we're a bigger, better community than that. I don't know how we're missing the ball there, but we have put some more money towards that. to try to help that, to try to voice that, to try to get some of that money that we are somehow letting get by us. I just wanna say something about solid waste real quick, because I get a lot of questions about this. This may make me popular or not, but here we go. Solid waste in Trinity County is not good. It's bad. We need to change it. It's on the top of my list. I get complaints all the time, every day. Something's gotta go. I mean, if you think I'm not on this, and I don't know who works around, this could not be good. But it's not working here. It's not. That department, of all the departments that we oversee, fails me by the most. Regularly, mostly, and fails you guys by far more than it fails me. There's got to be change there. There's just got to be change, and
I'm
I'm
gonna
done.
stop you there. All right, sounds good. Okay. This is a District 3 centric question. I'll let Anjanette lead since you have had the microphone. It's a two-parter. How do you define Hayfork, and how do you define Douglas City?
Can we start?
Well, I see them as two distinct communities separated by a mountain. That's probably the most of it. The things people can do in these towns are much different. We have a lot of land and they don't. We in Hayfork, and down there we don't, but they have a lot of different, like they've got the river, which we don't. We have a creek. I don't know what that question's driving at, so I'll hand it to.
So for me, the difference in Douglas City and Hayfork is, if you look at Douglas City has a river and its tourism that it attracts. The fishery, I'm very involved in the fishery. I look at that as a economic driver for Douglas City. Besides, what's in Douglas City is my store, the property next to my store, hotel, and post office. There's not much to it. There's not much coming. That's that. Hayfork, we all know what the economic driver is, and we need to build up the things that are here now. And that's the difference. There's a lot more here than Douglas City. There's a lot more problems, but we have the #1 amount of cultivation licenses in Douglas City, in District 3. We gotta make the best of that. And do I have 20 more seconds?
Yes.
So one of the things I just wanna get off my back here. We have a cultivation tax that could really help District 3. We have 2 districts that wanna opt out. Right now, if we split that between all 5 districts, I get 20%, so does the other 4 districts. If you don't want in, you shouldn't get out. I didn't pay into my 401k, so I'm gonna ask my neighbor if he wanted the money.
I think we can leave it at that. Thank you. All right, next question.
You got the gist.
You can hold the mic there, sir. Yes. Trinity County has sometimes created an us versus them atmosphere. What should the Board of Supervisors do to overcome the initial barriers of a successful, compliant, and chaos-free life in Trinity County, to say? It is said, the question is cannabis program, but I don't think it's limited to cannabis. I think that our county and our communities do have an us versus them feel. And I have never lived in Southern Trinity, so I don't know if you guys feel that, but I know that you don't feel like you have representation, as stated before, and I don't knock you for that. So I think this question is good for everybody, even your candidates running for Congress. The us versus them mentality in Trinity County.
So us versus them, so there has been an inherent kind of us versus them, District 3 against District 2, District 1, long before I was on the board, long before I even thought about being on the board. As a supervisor of District 3, you spend half your time holding on to what you got. There's a magnetic pull that pulls stuff back to Weaverville. You let go of it for a second, it's gone. You get up to budget time, you blink, they got it. You're sitting here trying to keep your libraries open, Keep everything that we got, you know, that's half the battle, just keeping the stuff we got. We are the redheaded stepchild. We always have been, long before I was on board. I'm not blaming anybody that's on board, gonna be on board, or has been on board. That's been around for a long time. If that's the us versus them, you know, I'm trying to hold up the best for the us against them, and I know what to do. But it's a get at it every day. You slip up and they're taking something, guarantee you, especially budget time, they want our stuff.
Oh, it was the same question down the line.
Okay, well,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I was looking down.
yeah, we were,
well, us versus them. It's been around for a long, long time, generations. So I can attest to that. Having lived in Weaverville for a while, I know what it's like. And I know what people say, and I know what it's like to be in Hayfork and hear what Hayfork people say about Weaverville people. And it's pretty mutual coming, there's us and them. I don't know, maybe that's always the case. If we don't have any common goals, why not? And I don't think at this point in time, we are very strong on common, our rural county as one goal. And if we can find that, and I think it's kind of exciting to think about what it might take for the most left out districts to pull ourselves into a view of, wait a minute, we're just as much a part of this county as any other piece of district. So I think I'd like to work on that.
Yeah, I think so too. I hate to think of it like that. I hate to think of our polarization of the county. We just think we have different needs, right? I think we have different needs. And that's what we need to educate each other about. I mean, I don't know that you're gonna overcome a lot of things, but I think education, and I think moving towards, you know, making everybody happy around, you know, being considerate and looking at all the views.
In an us versus them world, a little competition's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I represent District 5. District 5 is different. But if you want to look for the answer of what to do in an us versus them, I'm that guy on our board. I was that guy on the planning commission. I'm the guy that's trying to find a solution, not the, well, I don't agree with you, so I'm going to vote against you no matter what. Convince me. I don't go into anything determined to destroy someone. Everyone knows I'm not pro-cannabis. That's my personal opinion. But I know there's people in this room right now that know that I'm not gonna vote against cannabis because it's cannabis. I might try to be the guy that says, all right, let's do this so that those people aren't mad at us and we don't have a problem with cannabis. That's what I've tried to do my entire time as supervisor, and that's what I'll continue to do.
You want us to go countrywide, or how do you want us
Yeah,
to
you
scope
guys
it?
have a little bit
You got a
broader
bigger
scope,
plan.
you know?
Leave it. Well, but I think it still works across the board. I've spoken to thousands of people as I walk across this district, and what I've found is it's really a false dichotomy. It's a false difference. About 70% of us are all on the same page. Most of us need the same things. And I think that's why I talk about unity. I think I talk about uniting, because that's what America needs. America knows that we're on the wrong path, and most of us are suffering from the same problems. It doesn't matter what party you are. We all need water. We all need to survive financially. We all need to make sure that our children have something better in the future. And these are the things I think where we can start to focus, and that is by identifying what it is that we all need. And right now, it's the basics. And so that's what I would focus on, is making sure that we prioritize our reality, not our ideology. Because If we don't have the water we need, then it doesn't really matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, or if you're a we or a they. You've got to deal with the things that are going to be there for the future, and that's what I focus on, because we don't really have time to play partisan games anymore. I mean, we've kind of lost that luxury. This country is headed on a rough path, but if we all work together, we can help fix that path, and that's what I'm here to do.
Well, it's tough in District 2 because it's a pretty gerrymandered district. Jared Huffman loses in Trinity County, so he's obviously not popular, but yet he wins because the majority of the votes come from Marin and Sonoma County. So you're kind of along for the ride. And it's really tough because I think you have to really know what your North Star is, and you have to know what's right and wrong. And we have inflation, we have homelessness, we have crime. Those are the big things that people worry about. And of course, here you're worried about whether you're going to make a living. Right now, there is a huge divide, but I don't know how you come together with people that think that men can be women and that it's okay to kill a baby, then it's when it's already, halfway out of the mother. So those are really, really big issues that I don't know how you heal that divide. But I do think that you need to have your North Star, and you need to have open lines of communication with your constituents so they know why you are doing the things you're doing. Thank you.
This question asks the supervisors what committees they are on, and then asks the candidates running what committees they're interested in. So this could also be, since you will also, if elected, be on committees. I think I have a guess.
Well, I'd love to be on the appropriations committee. That would be really good, because of course that's how you decide where all the money goes, and we are $34 trillion in debt, so that would be really important. But as a junior congressman, I'd probably be lucky if I'm let out of the basement. But I will. I think what the key is to find Congress people that you align with really strongly, and for example, like Kevin Kiley, and work with them to co-sponsor bills to get things done. So.
Yeah, I focus on where a lot of my strengths are. I come from background in logistics operations, so I think where I believe this district needs a great deal of help, that's on infrastructure, transportation, rail, surface, because that is some of the things that will very much help the economy here. Also on armed services, again, over 16 years in the military, bring that experience as well to help us make sure that we actually have a military and not a DEI institution. Something I think we've sorely lacked in recently. But the things I think we can really focus on are the ones that we have specialties on. And I would certainly work with a lot of people in Congress where I've already started having those conversations, and I would very much continue that conversation as we get into committees.
This is kind of a trick question. I don't have a cheat sheet with me. It's a long.
Your list is long.
Long list. So some of the main ones that I do that actually meet, I have a lot that never meet, but I'm on the North Coast Unified Air Quality Management District Board. Sorry, Hayfork, you lost your burn barrels I bought, but sorry. Don't tell anyone. I'm on the Colusa Glen Trinity Community Action Partnership. Too many acronyms. Those are the ones that meet the most regularly. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I'm on. It's a long list. I'm going to answer the other part of that question too, because I would like to get an opportunity to serve on some of the other committees that I haven't yet. I would like to get into some of the natural resources, and I would like to get possibly RCRC, which is another acronym I could tell you the wrong words for.
I heard it last night, some rural county.
Rural, yeah, but it's been the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
How many do I have?
I'm not familiar with a lot of these committees. So what I would, what I would say is, I have strengths, good business strengths, negotiation strengths. I'd like to use those where they're useful in committees, and once I get where I'm familiar with what committees there are, I'm sure I will pick some things that I can help on, actually make a difference, so.
Thank you.
Having watched the board this year decide what committees they were on and talk about it, it was a very daunting list. Apparently, many of them don't meet, so that's useful. I'm personally very interested in natural resources and would want to work on anything having to do with that. And fire safety. I have a tremendous concern for the wildfire and wildfire prevention. Anything we could do in that support.
Okay, so I do have a cheat sheet. And we may have some overlap here. So I'm just gonna run these off real quick, the ones that I'm already on some of these. So I'm either alternate or primate, primate. Yeah, maybe closer to primate. So here they go, Child Abuse Prevention Advisory Board, Child Care and Development Planning Council, Inclusive Glenn County Community Action Partnership, me and Dan are on, Emergency Food and Shelter Program, Emergency Medical Service Advisory Committee, Forest County Schools Coalition, Golden State Finance Authority, Health Systems Collaborative, Highway 299 Committee, LAFCO, which is Local Area Formation Commission, NorCal EMS, which has to do with our ambulances here, North Coast Resource Partnership, Northwest California Resource Conservation and Development District, Partnership and Action for Trinity Health, Rural County Representatives of California, RCRC, Social Services Transportation Advisory Council, Trinity County Fish and Game Advisory Commission. The biggest one for me is the Trinity Management Council, which oversees restoration and all the waterworks on Trinity River, and we are winning that. And I'm also on the Trinity Opioid Safety Coalition, and then both myself and Dan get to pick a representative on the fairgrounds and the planning commission. And I just, one thing I want to say as far as how these are doled out. After I win this thing, next year, District 3 will be the chairperson of the board. So we will get to pick the best people for the best positions. We haven't had a chairperson in 4 years. And without me winning, it will be another year. So this is big. It's important to get everybody in the right spot. I think I know where they belong.
Thank you. This one is a question for everybody because it's pertaining to wildfire. I don't think there's an area in this county that's not important. So wildfire threats to the communities of Trinity County present some of the biggest threats to our homes and businesses. What specific actions have you personally taken to proactively advocate for wildfire prevention planning, and how is your district safer based on your efforts? That is for the existing supervisors, but then for the candidates running, you can let us know what you would do. So what have you done for fire lately?
So last year, I don't think this year, but last year was on Fire Safe Council. I work closely with you right here for the local fire department. I don't think you're on the fire council? No. Yeah, so there's, I guess I would say the board in general, is on some fire councils. We're all aware of the fire danger here. I would say one of the bigger things that hurts Trinity County with the fire, besides the fire itself, is it's a big setback to moving here. You know, the fire insurance that we have to pay here through the Cal Fair Plan, you know, could make your house payment go up by a third. And it's a detriment. It keeps people from moving here. we're not getting younger people to stay, we're not getting new people to move in here. I think one of the biggest problems that we have is the insurance or the lack of insurance for homeowners because of, the million acres of fire that we've had here. I'm done.
So building on that, definitely need to have the kind of environment where we are dealing with fuel breaks, hardening against fire, keep the sorts of things in our communities that reduce the spread of fire. We may eventually be able to have the insurance companies willing to insure us again. I think that's the huge one. I think personally that we can have that tied to a recreation. If you have fuel breaks and you've got mountain bikers, you might be able to say, hey, why don't you come ride our mountains on your mountain bikes, and we will have wide enough, because we've made wide enough trails for them to keep our own fire safe. That's the sort of thing I've been brainstorming.
So I think we need to work really closely with the Forest Service, and there needs to be a much better management of our forests, but we need the Forest Service to liaison much closer with our local fire departments. They know the terrain, they fight their fires more efficiently, and even the residents, so we don't have escape routes that aren't known about. We need to work together to really solve the fire problem. It's a Forest Service management problem, it's a fire break problem, it's also liaisoning with the local fire departments. They have a lot of knowledge about their own places and a lot of people at their access, local people that can help them with equipment and fighting fires, more knowledge than we, oops, sorry.
Need a louder hand.
It's not a hard stop.
Right. What have I done for fire? I'm a member of my local volunteer fire department. Before that, I was the chairman of the fire department board. I have been working recently with Six Rivers National Forest, which I haven't had quite as good a luck as the folks on this side working with their local forest. But yesterday I finally did get a meeting that went well. So to try to get the hazard trees left over still from the August complex removed along our county roads. I had the discussion also with how do we address the standing snags so that we don't have the excuse that we can't fight fires because of snags. I've heard it, I was on fires. We have in place, what are they called? Local agency advisors. There's actually an ad in the newspaper, so any of you who are qualified, become a local agency advisor so we can use you with the Forest Service. I've done what I can with the Forest Service, and I will continue to, and with my local fire department, more importantly. Which way do I go?
Would you like a swing at helping with fire?
Sure.
You're welcome to.
I'm the only person in this fight that's trying to keep our one of our lakes. And one of the things that we need to do is make sure that we have access to water that we can use to fight fires. We also need water to make sure that we can replenish our agricultural spaces so that they are green and not brown. These are some of the things that we can do that will help prevent fires or help mitigate the impact of fires when they are happening. I'm the only one that is trying to keep Lake Pillsbury at the moment. Jared Huffman is trying to get rid of Lake Pillsbury. That's 26 billion gallons of fresh water. And that can be used to fight the fires and protect us, or at least slow the fires as we get out of the fire zone, which is often the only solution. So that is how I would try and address it. I think we need to build a regional fire emergency center somewhere along this district, because we will have fires again and again and again.
So, fire management needs to be local, it needs to be community decision-making. 80% of the land in Trinity County is owned by the federal government, but then the federal government stands at the county fair and tells you that you're supposed to make your property fire safe. Well, the decision to do controlled burns or take down the trees that need to come down is still being made at the federal level. So I would make sure that the management is at the local level. I heard a horrible story at the county fair about outside fire people that come in and they make decisions about when to start controlled burns. They don't listen to the community members who say it's not the right time, and they start them, and then the fire erupts and it goes really badly. So number one, the community needs to be making a decision about fire management.
All right, this, you can hold on to that microphone. Here's a general question for all. How can we see a list of your donors?
Oh, that's really easy. The FEC website has a list of all of our donors, and the end of the year report will be filed tomorrow. So you'll see all donors through December 31st.
Yeah, that covers you. And then Dan, how do we see a list of your donors?
For me?
Yeah.
I have none.
Oh, well, say it to the mic, son.
I have no donors. I've told people that ask me, can I send you money? I said, if you want to help me, write me a letter to the newspaper. If you want signs, go buy them yourself. I don't have the resources to go out and spend on my own, and I don't have the time to go beg you for money. I've got a record. Anybody who wants to see my record can go on YouTube and watch me. If you don't like what you saw, that's that, but I've taken no money. I will not take any money, and that's not why I'm here.
Yep, and I will file, and everybody will be able to see what donors I have.
Okay, thank you.
FPDC forms.
Okay, you filed that. You have donors. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can find out easily through the FPPC. We all have to file a Form 700. That tells you who your donators are, who contributes to you. They take that pretty seriously too. You better keep your stuff together when you're doing that. It's pretty strict. So I think all of us probably are familiar with those rules. And the other thing too is, I don't know how many times we've been PRA, public press asked for all our stuff. And I think some of that stuff comes up in our Public Request Act from, I don't even know how many times I've been Public Request Act this year, but it's been more than I like.
All right, thank you. The next one is a local question, I believe. What are your connections / relationship to Jim Underwood?
Me first?
You first.
Simple. 0.
All right.
He did the trust for my parents, and he did a trust for me as an attorney.
No connection or personal relationship beyond that? Okay. District 5 too, I don't know. Right?
None.
Yeah, okay.
No personal relationship, been sued by him as a supervisor a couple times.
The county.
Yes, and then you can, hold on to this one, Dan. Please list the most important issues that you have personally advocated for with the state and federal legislatures for the benefit of Trinity County.
That's for me?
Yeah.
State and federal, let's see. Most of the state and federal stuff I've done has been about fire stuff, recovery. It started out when I barely got elected, working with state and fed, FEMA and Cal OES for fire recovery. Still going on with hazard tree removal along the county roads that have fallen out because of fire damage. So mostly at that level with fire recovery and okay, I think that, the main thing I've been with the
Fire
state
recovery
is-
board, okay. That,
I'm sure I'll
that
think of
question
something.
is, pardon?
I'll think of more later, but that's the most
That's
important.
fine. Then that question can go to you, Liam. What have you personally advocated for with the state and federal legislature, since being elected?
So, since being elected, it's been pretty much the same as being prior to elected. I fought for our water rights here for 25, 30 years now. We've come into a good situation through building relationships with, folks like Tom Stokely, long-time Hayfork resident, wrote the water policy for Trinity River. I've had a relationship with Tom for 25, 30 years. Joe Polos, the biologist with Tom at the time, 25, 30-year relationship was my guiding experience, and I have to give a lot of credit to Trent. I've known Trent for quite a while. Trent's worked on the water issues in Trinity County for a long time. Trinity County is now a major stakeholder in its water. Restoration is not telling us what they're gonna do to this river. We're now telling them what's best for the county. As far as sending water over the hills, the Central Valley Project to the Western Water District, which are two of the largest, Western Water District, largest water district in this country. And the Central Valley is the largest agricultural district in this country. So we'll be lobbying against Department of Interior, Department of Indian Affairs, all the way to Washington. This is a huge, huge fight that Trinity County is finally winning. First time in my life. And I've been around this water for a long time. Probably my proudest win in this whole deal.
Thank you. This is for all the candidates for Trinity County. Have you been approached or financially supported by TAA or anyone that has been involved in TAA?
This year or last election?
Ever?
Yes. So, my last election, I think we went through the TCAA meeting. There was, I'll say TAA made a run at me to try to join their group. They donated some money to me. I used it. Didn't follow their group at all though. Thus brought the kind of a sour grapes thing with me and Jim, but that's that. This time around, no. I mean, once 3 years ago, once I didn't join, they were done with me. So 0 this time around.
And what's the question again? Say it again.
TAA, has anyone in the organization made contribution or supported you? Do you stand on
Not to
that?
my knowledge. I don't know TAA.
What is it?
Yeah. What is that?
Trinity Action Association.
TAA is Trinity Action Association. They have litigated against the county cannabis
Yeah.
program. Their lead attorney was Jim Underwood, and also at a point they were represented by John Letton. They have basically dissolved, but they're still active.
Okay,
And
the answer's no.
okay, thank you.
No.
No, I just said I haven't received any money from anyone, and I don't believe I've been approached by anyone from TAA, although we don't know their membership, so it's possible that they have approached me, but I haven't taken any money.
Thank you. Okay, next question. I'm gonna combine two questions because I have the power to do so. So I understand, there's a question here about the jail, and I understand that as a supervisor, it is not within your bandwidth authority to do anything about the jail. That is the sheriff's purview. But it falls into the question of accountability. So there have been recent deaths at the jail, and how do we protect people in the jail? And then I wanna, to me, that question's really about accountability. So can you help us understand how you hold people in Trinity County in elected and in positions of power to account?
Okay, as a supervisor, the sheriff, the only thing we have any control over would be his budget. if we thought that the sheriff was doing something crazy, we can cut his budget. Other than that, you guys hold the sheriff accountable because he's an elected official. So, as far as I know, the deaths in the jail are all being investigated. I don't know any more about those investigations than you do. The only way I would is if something really, really bad happened probably, and I hope that doesn't. So, yeah, I think if anything terrible happens at the sheriff's department, we can defund the police. Other than that, we have nothing to do with the sheriff. He's a constitutional elected officer.
Thank you.
Liam, you wanna?
Yeah, I think Dan got it on the head. We really don't have a lot of jurisdiction besides the budget. I do think someone should be held accountable though. I think compared to, let's say, the national average, compared to our population in our jail up there, having 3 suicides in 12 months now seems to be extraordinary to me. I mean, I think someone somewhere should be held accountable for that. That's supposed to be a brand new jail. It's 1-year-old. 3 suicides. Someone isn't doing something right. I can't put a finger on it. I'm not there, but I can tell you this: something's not happening right there. You should not have 3 suicides in our jail.
Has it been determined that there are 3?
There is 3. There was 1 a year ago and 2 in the last
No,
one.
but I'm talking about the last one.
So,
I have not heard a determination on the last one, so.
I'm pretty sure that the last 2 are suicides. Almost 100%.
Okay, we can follow up on that one after this event. Okay, we only have a few more questions left, and we're on schedule. Oh, this is a good one. So we can go back to the general plan here for Trinity County. Okay, so earlier I heard the breakdown of how the steps. I know we all don't, I don't need an answer from all of you with that, but if you would like to topic open general plan, you have a minute.
So our general plan, Dan will tell you, is decades behind at best. So the general plan, we're about 2 years into a 4-year project on the general plan. Out of that general plan, we've come up with 7 or 8 community plans, which Hayfork has one. So we'll be able to, as Hayfork, kind of guide our way here. We'll be able to kind of sit down in a room like this, pick how we want to move forward. There was 3 additional community plans added to the general plan. I think they were Trinity Center, Post Mountain, and High Palm. So we went the extra kind of mile there to get those in there. I think they're important to get in there. We have to kind of encapsulate in the general plan, the community plan, and the strategic plan, which, we're all about 50% of the way into. Keep going.
Wrap it up.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah, that's good, thanks.
You guys have a stab at that one?
Yeah, no, it's for everybody.
Okay.
And like, including candidates and Jeanette.
Do you want to take a stab at the general plan before I do?
Nope. I need to learn what all the steps are that have been taken, what are the steps that still need to be taken, and then get us together and deal with it. That's all I can say right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot we don't know, and we need to be educated on this community plan. What it's gonna mean, because our area wasn't included in any kind of smaller plan, so we don't even know what's encompassing that. And now we've lost that ability, it seems like, so I'm not sure what we're dealing with now. We're gonna be under the umbrella, so, it's education now and trying to head off the things we don't want and, put some input in some zoning and planning type things.
All right, well, the general plan update, it's been a long time coming. We can definitely thank the cannabis cultivators for paying their fair share, and then some maybe. With the general plan update, there are going to be a lot of public meetings, and that'll be fun. I mean, you get to write your constitution for your county. That's what you have to think of this as. This is going to be how we move forward as a county. The community plans, are a little bit different. I know that I had requests from Host Mountain really wanted one. Okay, let's do it. Some of the other parts of the county, I didn't push that hard for District 5 to get community plans because we don't need that extra layer of restriction. And the community plans are for your community to determine what you do above and beyond the general plan. And I think the general plan will suffice for Southern Trinity. We'll be good. So I look forward to those conversations and to working through, try to find the best way to move forward as Trinity County and make it easier for people to do business. That's the goal of the general plan. Reduce conflict and make business happen. I'm all in. I think it'll be fun.
Thank you. This question goes to the candidates running for Congress. So in our local area, we need help with roads and funding. So earlier this was asked, but I wanted to wrap it up. The issue with us, the county, needing money from the federal government is because, or I guess you could say the state, we don't have any more money in the county to give for our roads. So how, if elected, a representative for District 2, how would you advocate for us?
Well, I think most people recognize that oftentimes the government is the friction point, and we don't need to continually create more debt so that we can pay more money. But one of the things that we're watching happen right now is our current representative is not chasing any of the $1.2 trillion that was passed in the Infrastructure Improvement Act. So that's $1.2 trillion that's supposed to be available for every single representative. And right now, he has proven that he is not trying to get that money for anybody in the district. And so, first and foremost, we need to access the monies that are available, that have already been passed. $550 billion of that is specifically allocated for water infrastructure. He is attempting to spend $500 million to remove Lake Pillsbury, and he wants to charge either the taxpayers or the ratepayers, which is all of us anyway. Now, if we have somebody who is not trying to get the money, the federal money at all, then they are failing us. And so that is something that I would absolutely do. If the money is there, then we need to go get it, and we need to have a representative that's going to do that. And that's me.
So, yeah, chasing federal dollars. I hate that. I just detest going to the federal government and the state government and begging for money. You've got Jared Huffman. He's getting money for this huge wind turbine project that's out in the ocean. That's, we're not supposed to drill for oil out in the ocean, but it's okay to kill whales and birds out with wind turbines for a minuscule amount of energy. So we have to look at the money we are asking for and what it is being used for. In Humboldt County, their roads are horrible too, and they're spending over half of their budget on health and human services. And now in the state of California, we're paying for medical coverage for illegal immigrants. So the entire budget process is completely upside down, and it's like a rubber band ball that you try to undo. So it's going to take a lot to try to figure this out. But I think deregulation and getting your county self-sufficient is a great start.
Thank you. So that is the last of the questions on the cards. Thank you all for your answers. And I'm going to give you, because we're running like a tight ship here on time, I would like to give everybody up to 2 minutes. I'll do the wave. Closing arguments. And let's see how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, so Teeth Gibbs, I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives, District 2. There are 5 candidates. I am the conservative choice, and I'm a small business owner in the city of Nevada with my husband. We have a business called vintage vehicles, we work on old American cars, successful business for 30 years, and I'm a mom of 2 adult kids. And I just believe that our country is on a crash course. I think that we need new leadership in this district, and I believe that conservative values are the way that we're going to restore our state and our country. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for coming tonight. I'm endorsed by every single GOP committee in the district. I've got the endorsement of the California GOP. I've been endorsed by Harmeet Dillon, Assemblymember Devin Mathis, the Sonoma County Farm Bureau, Moms for Liberty, the Mom Army, the Dad Army, and many others that you can check out on my website. Thankfully, I've gotten a lot of support. I ran for the first time last cycle. I ran in 90 days and missed second place by 0.3%. And so that was going against somebody who ran for 18 months and had much more support at the time. I have set the record for fundraising. I've raised more money than all Republicans in the last decade combined, and then we just beat that fundraising record just a few days ago. All money has come from within the district, from individuals, so I'm very proud of that. And I will say thank you for your support last time. I got an amazing amount of votes from Trinity County in the last election, and I thank you very much for that, and I hope to receive the honor of your vote yet again. Oh, sorry, and the other thing I wanted to add is look into the Adventure District. That's one of the ways to collaborate and I think bring more attention to places like Trinity County.
All right, once again, I think a lot of you guys already know me. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to continue some of the things I've started. And I know this job, it sounds easy when you read about it. It takes a solid year to even know what you're doing, and then another year to figure out how to do it. I finally feel like I've got my feet under me, and I really know how to move forward and try to get some of these things done. The first couple of years, you're just swimming. Liam can attest to that. It's different when you're on this side of the dais. And so I'm really looking forward to actually having the opportunity to pursue the things that I've started. And hopefully the voters in my district will give me that opportunity.
Thank you for having us today. It's really great to have the opportunity to do this. I'm going to make change in my district, and I'm gonna look at every single department where we can pull money from to get our roads done. We don't need to go to the state. We don't need to go to the federal government. We need to jumpstart our economy. We need to get money rolling, and we need to find out where the money's going, because I studied this budget. That's why I'm here today. This budget was a big deal to me. There's plenty of money out there. It's not going to the right places. People need it in their districts for the things that they need.
Well, thank you all for coming. This has been a great night. I'm very excited about the opportunity to apply what I know how to do to the questions that we've raised here. I don't pretend to have answers because it's new stuff. I have the time and energy and skills for studying it and working with it, and I'm excited about working with you people. That it's not going to just be me going to Weaverville, it's going to be me talking to you and we go to Weaverville, or I go to Weaverville on your behalf. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, and I appreciate your vote when the time comes.
I guess I have a lot of the same sentiments that Dan has, that I don't even know if it looks easy, but it's not easy. It's a lot of work, and you gotta have the want. We're halfway through most of the very, very important issues of general plan, strategic plan, the water issues, the cannabis revision. There's a lot of things I started that I want to get done, that I want to do this. I'm halfway through this job. I don't want to stop now. Done too much to go. We turn this thing around to where we are now. There's a lot riding on the next 4 years. And if there wasn't, I probably wouldn't run. But there's a lot riding on the next 4 years, and I just want to say something. I don't mean this to be spiteful or anything like that, but I first met both mentioned it. last week, and I talked to her, and really nice lady. I can't say a bad thing about her. Well, what she related to me was that she was put forward by someone to find someone to run against me. And I had already heard this from multiple people throughout my district. She goes around and she asks a lot of people, and nobody wants to for whatever reason. I don't know the reasons. And there's about an 8-week period where you can file to be a supervisor. I threw my name in the hat pretty early, probably Dan did too. Most of the supervisors did also. At the end of it, went around to look for someone else to do this job. And then she couldn't. And then with about the week left in filing, she put her name in the hat. So not only the person who tapped her on the shoulder probably didn't think she was qualified. I'll ask anybody of you out there, if you want something, you go get it yourself. You don't ask your friends. You don't ask anybody else. You just do it, you get it done. You're in the middle of it, the fight's on. I'm a long way from being done getting this stuff done. And like Dan says, it takes forever. I mean, the first 2 years, you're just learning relationships, building relationships with people, trying to make sure that the relationships you build are somewhat profitable for your district over time. And it's a grind. You know, we're at it every day.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, candidates. I hope everybody gets home safe. I'm so glad to know that the roads are clear and it is not cold enough to be frozen out there. So, till next time.
You didn't ask my question. I couldn't.